Jared's a best-selling author, speaker, blogger, husband, and father of 5, and he joins us from the wonderful state of Texas. We have a lot of friends in Texas. Jared, thanks so much for being on the program. How you doing?
Doing very well. It's an honor to be here.
Well, we're so glad you joined us today. You know, you serve as the director of catechesis at St. Francis Parish. What made you establish Strength for the Kingdom, and tell us about this ministry?
Sure. In large part, it came from just I got bit by the iron bug when I was in high school and fell in love with bodybuilding and powerlifting. And then I experienced a conversion in my own life about 2 years after I got into bodybuilding. And so I started to see some of the correlations between the discipline that I was experiencing in the gym and the discipline that it takes to live the spiritual life well. And so I founded Strength for the Kingdom as a way to kind of concretize those abstract ideals of spirituality and show men that there are certain things you can do in your life that can help you not only grow in health, but also in holiness as well.
You've been a competitive, all-natural bodybuilder for 15 years. What's that experience like?
Sure, it's interesting to say the least. I mean, getting ready for a competition is a very difficult process. I mean, your diet regimen and your training regimen is very, very strict to lead up to that. But there's something to this long kind of history of bodybuilding, and I typically go back to the 1940s and 50s to understand really the culture of bodybuilding, because so oftentimes today, unfortunately, it's kind of painted by this egoism that you see a lot in the magazines and on the stages. But there really is a beautiful past to it with Steve Reeves, Reg Park, and guys like that. But it's something that, for me, it helps keep me focused, and it helps keep me happy and healthy with my family and with my children.
And I have to tell you, actually, I have a friend who everyone here at Catholic TV knows, because it's Rick.
That's right.
Who was an all-natural bodybuilder, and it is much different, and it is very, very hard. The dieting, the workouts, so congratulations to you, Jared. Now, you have your undergraduate in, now let me get this right, kinesiology?
That's right.
And now you're working at it towards a master's degree in theology at Holy Apostles College. Tell us about this unusual pairing.
Sure, yeah. When I was in college, I actually thought I was going to go into coaching and teaching. And so kinesiology is the path to take towards that. I have a minor in Spanish, so I thought perhaps I could be a Spanish teacher and then coach sports on the side. But then I ended up falling in love with ministry and getting involved more in Catholic ministry. And now my full-time job is as the director of evangelization and catechesis at a parish. And so because of that, my love of theology ended up growing, and I got an amazing opportunity to go to Holy Apostles through their online content. And so I'm now working towards my master's there. And to me, it seems like an awesome fulfillment of what John Paul II was asking for in the theology of the body, to truly understand the natural in light of the theological. And so it's definitely a unique pairing, but I think it's definitely one needed today.
Now, you've beat me, because I only have 3 kids. Now you have the 5 kids. How do we connect with younger people today and bring faith into their lives? Because it can be a struggle with so many diversions out there.
Sure. In large part, I think that it's reaching into their interests, right? Reaching into what you might call youth culture and finding Christ within it. That's one reason why I'm a big fan of Bishop Robert Barron, because that's what he does. He reaches into the very culture and finds the Christology in it, finds where God can be seen in those things. And so for me, seeing bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, that kind of stuff, and seeing where there is goodness in it, and just pointing those things out to the young, because so oftentimes today they're going to the secular sources in order to find the truth of bodybuilding and powerlifting. And sure, they can find good weightlifting routines and things like that, the how, but not necessarily the why. And so to go in and kind of show it's God working within your life of trying to help you improve as a human person within the culture that you love. It doesn't have to be an either-or situation. It can truly be a both-and within culture.
When you were considering being a teacher and a coach, 2 very wonderful professions, did you ever see yourself changing that direction and all of a sudden say, wait a second, I'm going to do ministry instead? Because while they do have similarities, they are very different too.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny because I've learned actually a lot from the coaching background that I was taught. Because when you're a minister, whenever you're ministering to other people, you're kind of coaching lives. You learn how to reach that individual and how to kind of help, guide them in the right direction. You're kind of leading them towards the way. And obviously, as Catholics, we believe that Christ is the way. And so, yeah, I didn't see myself getting into ministry full time, but I do absolutely love it. And I see it as sort of a fulfillment just in a different way, and kind of God's humor put me in a different style of coaching.
So when you go out, Jared, and you speak at locations and events, what do you try to bring across? What is your goal as a speaker?
Sure. So one message that I'm very passionate about is a re-enhancement or a looking at the theology of asceticism, of understanding that basically disciplining your physical nature helps discipline your will. The idea that, that's why during Lent we fast or we give up meat or those kinds of things. It's because when you say no in the material world, it becomes easier to say no in the spiritual world with temptations and whatnot. And so I call it the new asceticism, in ways in which weightlifting, dieting, these kinds of things can help us grow in asceticism, help us grow as ascetics ourselves. And we can tie that asceticism to the cross of Christ. It helps us grow spiritually. But the other that I'm very passionate about is just an authentic understanding of God's plan for each of us, and understanding that God created us with a plan in mind, and that ultimately true happiness comes from aligning ourselves with that plan. And so we get to, luckily, as Catholics, we get to have the guarantee of what that plan is and how to follow it.
Well, this has been a pleasure, Jared. Where can people contact you to be a speaker and learn more about Strength for the Kingdom?
They can go to my website. It's just jaredzimmerer.com. I've got some articles on there. I've got a YouTube channel on there as well, and you can contact me through that website.
Well, we appreciate your time. You have a great day now, Jared.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Bye now.